There was a time when peace was on the earth and happiness did reign, 'cause each one knew their worth. In my heart, how I yearn for that. Spirits returning, I cried as time flies.
Greetings, and welcome to Reflections on Your 12 Powers. Now, you may be asking, so what are the 12 powers? In a nutshell, the 12 powers includes a metaphysical look at the expressions of the divine inherent in each of us. These 12 expressions of power will be covered in this experience as we explore the fundamental attributes of divine mind that form our spiritual nature and manifest through us as divine ideas. Today is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent. And Lent comes from the Anglo-Saxon word spring. It is also derived from the word that means lengthen. Traditionally, Lent is the annual season of fasting, prayer, and penitence, which lasts 40 days. It was customary to sprinkle ashes on the heads of the participants in the Ash Wednesday ritual. In New Thought Ancient Wisdom teachings, of which unity is a part, Lent is a season for spiritual growth and unfoldment. During this time, we refrain from error thoughts and turn our minds and hearts in the direction of the all-good, or the spiritual realm of thought. In that space, we return to the realization we are whole and well, our true self. This requires spiritual fasting in which we abstain from negative thinking and meditate on spiritual truth until that truth is incorporated in our consciousness. So let's begin Ash Wednesday and our reflections on the 12 powers. The first power is faith. What is faith? Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. This belief or trust in the invisible is one of our greatest gifts. It allows us to draw upon knowledge and wisdom and take action even when we don't consciously know what comes next. Our faith faculty heightens our power of perception, whereby we manifest our deepest desires. Faith is awakened within us by letting go of the need to understand all the intricacies of life. Meditation and prayer are tools we can use to infuse our consciousness with the activity of this power, which shows us that everything is possible through faith.
God through faith awakens in me now. 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 God through faith awakens in me now.
Faith fosters strength.
What is strength? Strength is the power to do, the capacity to accomplish. It allows us to turn away from the negative and fully embrace the pure spiritual support that flows in and through each one of us. Strength is more than physical ability. It originates in spirit and sustains body, mind, and soul. Strength awakens in us when we trust in divine intelligence to hold us steady and firm in the face of challenge. By lifting our consciousness higher to harmonize with divine mind, we become steadfast and strong.
In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong. In God I am steadfast and strong.
Strength fosters love.
What is love? Love is the power that joins and binds the universe and everything in it. It is the perfect union between our mind and divine mind. Love cannot be suppressed. Love cannot die. Even when we are not aware of love, it prevails, dissolving fear, shoring up our faith and strength. Higher love is awakened in us when we consciously love our hearts and when we are willing to be open and vulnerable. It is our faith that gives us strength to cultivate a loving attitude even in the face of negative influences. As we tune in to our divine love, we expand in mind, body, and soul.
Divine love awakens in me now. 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 Divine love awakens in me now.
Love fosters power.
What is power? Our power center is located in the throat. And this center controls all of our vibratory energies. This means that every word we speak carries the power to form our consciousness and our world. Every word leaves an imprint on the ethers. Thus, speaking from a spirit-centered consciousness forms our world and our experiences. Power awakens when we are conscious of our word, our actions. The more we cultivate a loving approach to the world, the more we cultivate a harmonious relationship with the divine. Spiritual power builds within us as we become masters of our lives.
God's gift of power quickens in me now. 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 God's gift of power quickens in me now.
Power fosters imagination.
What is imagination? Imagination is our faculty that images and then forms. Before we can manifest anything, we must have an idea or image first. Imagination forms the picture, then brings the idea into expression. Thus we mold our ideas into shape. Spirit projects images meant to guide us if we have but faith. We can carry any idea to fruition with our power of imagination. Imagination is awakened when we open and allow the images from Spirit to flow into our minds. In our communication with God, we receive divine ideas through meditation, dreams, and visions. When we bring these ideas into our conscious minds, we bring them into the world.
God's imagination quickens in me now. 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 Ooh. God's imagination quickens in me now. God's imagination quickens in me now. God's imagination quickens in me now. God's imagination quickens in me now.
Imagination fosters understanding.
What is understanding? Understanding is our ability to apprehend and realize the laws of thought in relation of ideas one to another. This is how we come to understand our relationship to God and to others. Understanding knows and compares in wisdom rather than judgment. Understanding is deep spiritual knowing. When we understand, we know what to do. Understanding is awakened within us when we work in unity with Holy Spirit to see truth. We ask questions. We listen. Remain quiet. We allow our opinions to go dormant. When we see the activity of God in our lives with true understanding, we are better able to rightly use our ability to discern.
God's understanding quickens in me now. 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 God's understanding quickens in me now.
Understanding fosters right judgment.
What is judgment? Judgment is always paired with wisdom. We must always be able to discover the best and highest good. So spiritual discernment places wisdom above all else. Judgment does not name anything right or wrong. It sees into all knowing within to bring wisdom to the fore. Judgment, or spiritual discernment, is awakened when we choose to look for wisdom in any and all circumstances. We release the desire to name things good or bad in favor of simply seeing things as they are. When we go within and communicate with our inner wisdom, we activate spiritual discernment. When we are in union with our inner wisdom, we judge rightly.
Divine judgment awakens in me now. 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 Divine judgment awakens in me now.
right judgment fosters right use of will.
What is will? Will is the executive power of the mind. It is the point from which all action comes forth. While other faculties are subjective, will is objective, alert. Will takes action and can become overbearing unless we rely on understanding and wisdom to rightly direct us. Will is the personality. It is how we express ourselves in the world. Will is awakened by understanding and wisdom, which show the personality the highest and best form of expression. By releasing personal will, we release inner conflict, clearing the path ahead.
Thy will be done. 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 Thy will be done.
Right use of will fosters divine order.
What is divine order? Divine order is the logical process by which divine principle manifests. Life unfolds as it should, and as we know this innately, when we again align with divine law, order, we agree to follow the flow of both visible and invisible. We walk by faith, knowing that there is more to life than we can see. Divine order is awakened by stopping and taking a step back to allow understanding to show us the right path. We release the need to direct our lives, to create our own order. We give our own will up to the will of Holy Spirit that moves in and through us with unbridled zeal.
Divine order awakens in me now. Divine order awakens in me now. Divine order awakens in me now.
Divine order fosters zeal.
What is zeal? Zeal is the affirmative impulse of existence. It says, go forward. Zeal is the external urge behind all things. Zeal is excitement, joy, impulse. Therefore, zeal must also be tempered with wisdom and understanding. When we plow headlong into something, we may get in over our heads. But that impulse, that excitement, is absolutely necessary for us to take action. True zeal is awakened when we temper our enthusiasm with wisdom and bring our lives into balance. Excessive zeal weakens us, while balanced zeal feeds us, gives us strength. We cultivate balanced zeal by declaring divine order and abiding by that declaration. With balanced zeal, we can go forward in confidence and joy.
God's gift of zeal quickens in me now. 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 God's gift of zeal quickens in me now.
Balanced zeal fosters renunciation.
What is renunciation? Renunciation is the process through which we change our minds from believing we must manifest our personal will to knowing that all is divine order. With our understanding comes the wisdom and strength to have faith in the imaginative force that makes power and love manifest. When we have released attachment to negativity, we are enthusiastic about life and we go forward. Renunciation is awakened when we consciously release anger, fear, resentment, and judgment from our minds. Through prayer, meditation, and conscious desire, we bring our highest selves to the fore. We forgive ourselves. We release the need to control, to be in charge. Through this process, we put ourselves in harmony with the divine and greatly improve our quality of life.
To Spirit I release it all. To Spirit I release it all. To Spirit I release it all. To Spirit I release
Renunciation fosters life.
What is life? Life is the energy that propels all life forms to action. Life is creative. Life is sensation. Life is feeling. Life is eternal. The life that flows through us is physical, mental, and spiritual. The divine, God, expresses through us as life, as action. Life awakens by the constant cultivation of our other 11 powers. Certainly we are alive, but to embrace life and live it fully, we have to develop faith, stand in our strength, and love divinely. We use our power of the word rightly, activate our imaginations, clarifying them with understanding and right judgment. We balance will and zeal while renouncing belief in the negative and affirming that life is holy and sacred.
God's gift of life quickens in me now. 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 God's gift of life quickens in me now.
Thank you for participating in the reflections on your 12 powers. As you embody and express these faculties in your life, you will be on your way to being the highest and best expression of yourself. A strong, powerful, positive, wise, loving expression of the Spirit of the living God. With that, I invite you to join in consciousness as we recite the prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well.